This is the CNN article here. I'm just going to skim it a little bit. Former Vice President Joe Biden's announcement of a bid for the Democratic presidential nomination earned him an 11-point polling bounce, leaving him head and shoulders above the rest of the Democrats. A new CNN poll conducted by SSRS after Biden's announcement on Thursday shows 39% of voters who are Democrats or Democratic-leaning independents say he is their top choice for the nomination, up from 28% who said the same in March. I'll put the link to the article on YouTube, but I'm not going to read you the rest because it's all propaganda. Let's think about what a poll is before I even show you this. A poll is a sampling of people. So if you have 350 million people in the United States, they don't call 350 million people. Of course they don't. They call 1,000 people. 1,000 people compared to 350 million people. And they make a decision about how a trend is going based on 1,000 people. And on top of that, they can manipulate the phone calls that they make to point them to certain people to get the results they want. And I'm going to show you this now. This is the SSRS research data from this poll on page 35. I'll put the link to this as well. And this is the poll from April 25th to April 28th, table 72. And this is the question. They called people on landlines and on cell phones, and they asked this question. I'm going to read a list of people who may be running in the Democratic primaries for president in 2020. After I read all the names, please tell me which of these candidates you would support for the Democratic nomination for president in 2020, or if you would support someone else. And they claim here the base is respondents who are Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents and are registered to vote. Okay, so the first table here looks innocent enough. It just tells you about the different breakdowns of men, women, white, non-white, Trump approve, Trump disapprove. We'll scroll down to the age groups. This is where you're gonna see what I'm talking about. 18 to 34 column of people who answer that question, 35 to 49, 50 to 64, 65 plus. So look at this. They have NAs for 18 to 34, NAs for 35 to 49, and the column goes all the way down. Like, what does the NA mean exactly? Well, NA, as everybody knows, means not applicable. But if you read the details of this report, it means that they didn't sample enough of these groups to have an actual piece of data to put here. But yet they had plenty of data for 50 to 64 and plenty of data for 65 plus. But they didn't have enough data for these groups. How's that possible? How is that possible that this is some form of fluke? Like, oh, yeah, we couldn't reach enough to come to a determination, so we made the poll based on old people, because that's what this basically is. These age categories here are more likely to see Joe Biden as a guy that they could vote for than these guys. These young people here, I know very few young people that think Joe Biden is an actual viable presidential candidate. They don't see Joe Biden as somebody that's going to come in and improve their lives, change the world, do something for climate change. I mean, real things. He's to young people, he's establishment. He's the same joke that's the establishment has been putting in for the last, 35, 40 years, if not longer. And kids know this, and that's why they don't vote. They didn't vote up till now because they just don't see what the purposes of voting is. Like, you vote and you have two bad choices. That's what they see. So then you get Bernie and you get Elizabeth Warren and you get some other progressives in that actually excite these young people and bring them out to vote. And this poll can't even muster enough of them in the poll to accurately represent them. So this is the propaganda, the corporate propaganda. Joe Biden, of course they polled plenty of people 50 to 64, plenty of people over 65, and plenty of people 45 plus. They didn't poll enough of these groups, of the younger groups, to represent them. You just have to use your eyes and look at this. This is a farce, CNN. You are a farce. You are a corporate farce, CNN. This is why you should never trust polling, because the pollsters are being paid by the corporations, and the corporations have an agenda.